The movie begins deep in the remote forests of West Virginia. A couple, Rich and Hallie, are seen climbing up an abandoned mountain trail. When Rich reaches the top, he finds a dirty stream of water. Celebrating his victory, he claps his hands and immediately tells Hallie to climb up as well. Meanwhile, as Hallie climbs, her foot slips, but she quickly regains her balance and keeps going. She calls out to Rich for help, but not seeing him makes her anxious. Suddenly, a drop of blood falls onto her face, startling her. Looking up, she sees that someone has pushed Rich down. Before she can realize what's happening, someone starts pulling her forcefully. Hallie manages to cut her rope to escape, but her grip slips and she falls down. There, she discovers Rich's lifeless body and breaks down in tears. At that moment, strange noises come from the mountain. Terrified, Hallie runs toward her car to escape, but her foot gets caught in barbed wire, making her fall. Then the killer drags her away. From here, we learn that this region has been plagued by repeated incidents of car robberies. Some people even claim that the place is haunted by witchcraft. A little later, we see another car entering the area. This time, we meet Chris, who is heading to another town for a job interview. On the way, he gets stuck in heavy traffic. After waiting a long time with no movement, he steps out and walks to a truck driver standing ahead. The driver informs him that a chemical truck overturned 5 miles ahead and the road will remain blocked for hours. Hearing this, Chris quickly returns to his car, now worried. Since the traffic isn't moving, he decides to turn around. He tries calling his company to inform them about the delay, but the signal drops due to the mountainous area. While searching for network coverage, he spots a sign for a gas station and heads there. Along the way, he notices many abandoned cars with no owners around. Passing by them, he finally arrives at the gas station, where he meets the strange-looking, sickly owner. Chris tries calling the company again from there, but fails to get through. He then asks the owner if there's another road to the city, but the man stays silent. Suddenly, Chris notices a map pinned to the wall, showing a winding road that leads to the city. When he asks about it, the owner advises him to take that road. Chris follows the route and drives deep into the dense forest. Soon, he finds a shortcut sign and decides to take it. While driving, suddenly he sees a dead deer on the road, and in that moment, his car crashes into another vehicle ahead. A terrible accident occurs, wrecking both cars, but Chris survives. Soon, the owners of the other car approach Chris and check on his condition. Pulling himself together, Chris apologizes for the accident and even offers to pay for the damages. At the same time, he asks them why their car had stopped in the middle of the road. Francine explains that someone had scattered barbed wire on the road, which caused their tire to burst. One of their friends suggests going back to the gas station to make a phone call, but Chris warns everyone not to go there. They decide to split up, while Evan and Francine stay behind with the car. Meanwhile, as the others walk down the road, they come across a dead weasel that has been ripped apart in the middle. A little further ahead, they discover a pile of burnt tires, hinting at approaching danger. Still, Chris insists that they keep moving. Back at the car, Francine and Evan notice movement in the nearby bushes. Evan goes to investigate, but when he doesn't return, Francine grows scared and anxious. Searching for him, she finds Evan's shoe. As she gets closer, she also discovers a severed ear. It's Evan's. Horrified, she breaks down crying. Suddenly, a man grabs her and kills her. Later, the remaining 4 continue walking along the road in search of help. Suddenly, they discover a house and decide to approach it. Seeing several cars parked in front, Chris grows suspicious. He knocks on the door for help, but no one answers. Entering the house, they search for a phone. Inside, they find a dining table, covered in dust as if it hasn't been cleaned for a long time. On the table, they spot glasses and car keys. When Chris opens the refrigerator, he is shocked. It's filled with human body parts. Jesse then finds the same barbed wire that had shredded their tires. Terrified, the 4 of them try to escape. Just then, Chris notices a car pulling up outside through the window. They rush to flee through the back door, but it's locked, leaving them panicked. At that moment, the killers enter the house and throw Francine's dead body onto the floor. Chris and Jesse freeze in horror at the sight of her corpse. Soon, they see 3 cannibals placing Francine's body on the table. With sharp tools, they begin chopping her apart. Jesse almost screams in terror, but Scott quickly covers her mouth. After a while, once the cannibals finish eating the flesh,
They fall into a deep sleep. Seizing the opportunity, the group quietly tries to escape, but suddenly one of the killers wakes up and spots them. Immediately, they flee through the back of the house. The cannibals chase after them. Chris deliberately tries to steal their truck to distract them, shouting loudly, but one of the killers shoots him, knocking him to the ground. Chris is badly injured. The others are horrified by this. Then, Scott is seen running toward the forest. Spotting a truck, he runs toward it, but out of nowhere, an arrow pierces through his body. The remaining three, desperate to survive, flee again. A short distance ahead, they find a truck stuck in the mud and are forced to abandon it. The three of them continue through the forest, trying to reach the road to save themselves. Daylight fades into evening. At the same time, the cannibals set out to hunt them down.
Meanwhile, after walking for a long time, the three survivors grow tired and stop to rest. At that moment, Carly tells them to look up. As they turn, they see a watchtower ahead. Their hearts fill with hope. All three begin climbing the tower together, but once at the top, they are disappointed to find no one there. Inside, Jesse discovers a first aid box and uses it to treat Chris's wounds. Carly, on the other hand, finds an old radio. She turns it on and calls for help, but no response comes through. Suddenly, Chris hears noises from below. Looking down, he sees the three cannibals walking beneath the tower. Moments later, they begin climbing up. Alarmed, Chris quickly blocks the entrance with whatever he can find. For a while, he watches as the cannibals eventually head away. Meanwhile, Carly continues trying to broadcast their location on the radio. But just then, the cannibals cut the radio wires and set the tower on fire. Trapped inside, Carly smashes a box through the window in a desperate attempt to survive. Spotting trees below, the three jump down to save themselves. The cannibals notice them and start climbing after them. The survivors flee from tree to tree. During the chase, one cannibal catches up to Carly and brutally cuts her into two pieces. Chris gathers his strength and stands up. Suddenly, he hears the sound of a vehicle and runs toward it, managing to stop a police van. As the officer steps out to help him, an arrow strikes directly into the officer's eye. Another cannibal charges at Chris, but he hides under the van to escape. When the killer looks underneath, he finds nothing, shocked by Chris's disappearance. Next, we see the house where Jesse is being held captive. The one-eyed cannibal prepares to kill her, but hearing a vehicle outside, he goes to check. At that moment, Chris rams into him with his car. Chris gets out and finishes the cannibal off with an arrow. He then unties Jesse and saves her. Just then, another cannibal attacks, but this time, Jesse grabs a bow and kills him herself. Together, the two escape from the house. Chris then targets the police van's fuel tank, causing a massive explosion that destroys the house completely. In the final scene, the two are seen driving a truck back onto the road, arriving at the gas station. Seeing them, the owner panics and shuts the door. Chris gets out, grabs the map, and walks away with Jesse.